Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. You know that music. It means tax. Taxman Bob Loeser is in the house. And we missed you last week. We heard you were on vacation. You had a great adventure.
I took a hiatus. Took the family on a Carnival cruise to Cozumel, Belize, and Honduras. Ziplined for the first time, tubed in underground caves. It was really kind of neat, and just left this place behind. And surprisingly, only called my office twice, and for the only reason was to make sure that there was money going into the bank, deposited-wise, to cover the checks that I had left.
Yeah, you got to make sure that happens. Yeah, you want to make sure you're still in business when you get back.
That's right. Or if somebody does sell it for a high price. I told anybody who could sell my practice for $2 million, I'd give them a 5% commission.
There you go.
Didn't happen, but I can always dangle that carrot out, right?
That's exactly right. So talk a little bit, and how long were you gone?
1 week, Sunday to Sunday.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm about to go to Minnesota, which isn't nearly as sexy as where you went, but I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to getting out of the heat.
I hope you do some fishing, and I mean, it's a gorgeous area up there in Minnesota.
Never been, so I'm looking forward to it. It should be a lot like Michigan where I grew up, I would think.
Mm-hmm. You going to Minneapolis, St. Paul? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Great area.
Visiting my wife's family. Talk a little bit about, first of all, let's have a little fun and talk a little bit about the political front, if we can call it fun. It's always fun talking to you about it for whatever reason. You figure out how to have that golden mean between the seriousness and the soberness of what we're dealing with, but at the same time finding the humor of it. So I always appreciate that. But it sure looks like Donald Trump is exploding out there, and he's not going anywhere.
I think the issue with Trump is, and I like him because he tells you what's on his mind, and no matter what it is. And I don't think he's vulgar. He tells what's on his mind, and he doesn't have anybody's money invested in this right now except his own. Mm-hmm. And so he can't say, I've got special interest groups, or I've got to kiss somebody's backside, or whatever. The bottom line comes to, this is what I think, and if you don't like it, and it's very simple.
And it's refreshing, isn't it, compared to what we've seen?
He may not win. He may tick off, 55% of some poll yesterday said that when it came out that they don't like him. All right, didn't say they wouldn't vote for him. They just said they didn't like them as a person. But he's bringing out immigration. He's bringing out these other major matters that nobody wants to speak of until they're forced to speak of. And I think what he's going to do is, I think he's going to clear the House. I mean, you got 17 candidates, and I think we'd be lucky to rattle off 14 of them, probably. Yeah. We'd forget 3 of them. That's how obscure the last 3 are. American people, heaven forbid, they probably know 5 of them. No disrespect to the American people, there's just so many.
Right.
He's going to clear house. He's going to take the 17.
Yeah, leave that disrespecting of the American people to me.
Right.
Anyway,
I mean,
the
politicians do that on a daily basis in Washington. Well, yeah, I know you voted for us and you put us in Washington, but we don't care any longer.
Thanks for getting the vote, though. Well, we'll be seeing you in a couple of months.
And the perks are great here in Washington.
Yeah.
Right. But I think the bottom line is, if we drag this down to 6 and Trump's still there, then we are going to weed out who those 6 are possibly going to be. And if the first debate is any indication, plus the first, I'm going to call it Debate B, which Carly just did. I mean, she did a wonderful job. I mean, It was like she was talking against second graders.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have a clue. And the more and more you get to know her, I didn't know a lot about her until she entered, and the more and more about what she did for Hewlett-Packard, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, they went from 44 million in sales to 95 million in sales.
Yeah, at a very vulnerable time in its history.
Correct. And she then asked, well, you were fired. Well, yeah, it was a boardroom decision, all right, but I could list you 5 or 6 other very infamous people that are out there that were fired from their either businesses that they owned, operated, and maybe even invented. All right, and it wasn't because they were
Steve Jobs.
Exactly. She mentioned Steve Jobs, and it's not because they're stupid. All right, it's because of what took place in the boardroom in regards to the politics.
Yeah.
All right, and the same thing that they're doing in regards to going after Donald Trump right now about, well, you went bankrupt. Well, no, I didn't go bankrupt. The business went bankrupt.
Right.
And Chris Wallace was trying to get to him and said, but you went bankrupt. No, the U.S. laws currently, and that's the way they are right now currently, I have never filed bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. And he's got a point, but what he's doing is saying, the legislature in Washington writes these laws and passes them, and then when you use them, they point a finger and go, but you cheated.
Right.
I didn't cheat. Those are your laws.
Right.
Okay,
If you don't like them, change the laws.
Change them. Exactly. Okay, change them. Okay, but I think the highlights are, I think Rubio has moved up tremendously.
I think so.
Right, and I've talked about this.
He just looks so darn young.
Correct.
It's like, oh my God, he's so snotty nosed.
He just graduated. He graduated from graduate school or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
But if that old.
But Fiorina, I think Kasich.
John Kasich surprised people.
I think he did a wonderful job. Now, again, he was in his own state. He had a hometown advantage, right? But he did a wonderful job. And then I didn't think Jeb Bush did a great job. He was in the middle of the pack, and he shuffled his feet.
And he seemed intimidated being so close to Donald Trump on that podium.
Possibly. Christie got aggressive at times, but I don't know. Rand Paul, he might as well flip burgers. He's a goner.
Really? You think he's completely gone?
Yeah. I think from what I saw the polls yesterday as to how far he dropped in his numbers. Lindsey Graham and whatnot. They'll be out in
I don't understand the
30 or 60 days. And,
yeah,
and Jindal didn't. He hasn't made any major move, and Walker I didn't think did a great job. I like Scott Walker.
Scott Walker seemed to only hold his own, if that. It was still the Trump show.
I thought Carson did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I thought so too.
He's extremely articulate. He's got a sense of humor. He's too soft-spoken for me. I want to see him at one point just scream at the top of his lungs, USOB or whatever. He's really soft-spoken, and guess what? I've done something that none of you guys have done. I've separated Siamese twins in the operating room, which I thought was great.
Operated on a baby in the womb.
Right, right. Huckabee had a good line that you thought he was coming after Trump, and he came after Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But that was his one moment. And again,
although I thought he did very well overall. I thought overall Huckabee performed better than probably 90% of
correct. But I think the one thing that he designates himself from is he's very, of course, religious, and I'm not against religion, but as an American voter,
there's a lot of people that are these days.
Sometimes comes into play in basically saying, I don't want you to dictate to me that I have to be religious to vote for you.
Yeah.
Okay, but again, and I really think again, everybody's comments. I've listened to CNBC and Fox and the whole bit. Oh, Trump's going to fall on his face. You know what? I know he hasn't designated who he's going to associate himself with around him as his key people, but who cares?
Yeah.
You don't think he's smart enough to basically get down to the final 3 or 4 and say, okay, I've made my team and they consist of, and all of a sudden you note who these people are and you go, I know him, I know her, I know him. All right? He's smart enough to do that. He didn't run successfully. Yes, he's gone bankrupt 3 times or whatever, okay? But if you don't keep getting up off the ground, dusting your pants off, and trying again, right, which is all what America is all about at this point in time,
this is the country.
Then sit home, gather your welfare checks, watch the soap operas, okay, and eat a lot of bonbons. Okay?
This is the country of second, third, fourth, fifth chances.
Correct.
And so,
and there's nothing wrong with that. Look at in football, Michael Vick. Okay, he gets put in prison for the pit bull fighting and all. He gets out and he has another chance to play football, and he's making $3, $4, $5 million a year.
Yeah.
I love this country.
Yeah. Yeah, Donald Trump at 32% in new post-debate poll. The thing about it, and I've written now pretty extensively. I have several articles over at Huffington Post about Donald Trump. The reality is that he's kind of like our bully. Mm-hmm. We've been bullied by the media. We've been browbeaten by the media.
Right.
You're supposed to behave like this. You're supposed to act this way. And you've got these weenie, multicultural, politically correct major parties, and they're all talking about mismanners rather than about reality. And then this guy comes along and he just talks about the things that is almost like taboo, the huge elephant in the room that needs to be addressed. He gets pounced upon for doing that, and it's like they're pouncing on our bully. This is our. Remember the old show in the '80s, my bodyguard?
Yes, exactly.
He's like my bodyguard,
exactly.
Uncouth, kind of rugged.
You get picked down for such a long time, then you hire a bully.
Yeah,
I'll give you 3 bananas a week, so to speak, and I want you to keep an eye on me. Okay?
Yeah.
And I remember just a side story. I remember first year in high school, I was a freshman, and there was a guy by the name of Tiny. And Tiny was about 6'2" and about 320 pounds.
Whenever their name is Tiny.
Right, it's not, okay? And you knew who he was before you got to be a freshman at this high school, all right? And you never knew who and what he was, but you just stayed away from him. And I remember walking down the aisle at lunch, and somebody like a junior whatever tripped me and it fell on my face. And all of a sudden, I feel a hand on my shirt lifting me off the ground, okay? And I'm sitting there going, oh, no, right? And I look up, and it's Tiny. And he said, I'll take care of this for you. He said, you need anything, you call me. Right?
Wow.
And for the 3 years that I was there in high school, if I needed anything, nobody ever picked on me.
Wow.
Right? And from what I understand, whoever tripped me, okay, had a couple bruises at the end of the day. But I mean, I don't know why he took a liking to me, out of a clear blue. Didn't know him from Adam. I just knew who he was.
You would have voted for him, wouldn't you?
And then I got to know some of his friends that hung out. I played soccer with him on the soccer team, etc. It was just really funny that how this relationship developed, all because some other bully tried to trip me up, all right, and he took offense to it.
Yeah.
So, in any event, I think the bottom line with Trump is he's going to clear the field. He's the perfect antidote here from getting from 17 to 4. And then the American people have a good choice of who those 4 are. And you want the routine of, yes, we go to Washington and we do whatever we want, we make a lot of money, and we write our books and whatnot. Or do we want somebody to say, well, I've been brought by the American people to Washington to do these things, clean up immigration, clean up the deficit, the $18 trillion deficit, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
All right? And who's the only candidate at this point that wants to talk about it?
Yeah.
All right?
The problem is that most of those candidates, the Walkers, the Kasichs, any of those governors, there's now so many of them. I see one governor rising to the top. I see one U.S. senator, in this small group.
Right.
Man, it's almost cannibalism.
Right.
And Trump's now getting 25 to 30% of all headlines regarding the presidential campaign. He is literally suffocating the competition.
Correct. Because it can't get a word in edgewise.
Yeah,
I mean,
no one wants to hear him anyway. And so now they're using chainsaws to destroy the budget, or they're throwing their cell phone, destroying their cell phone in creative ways. Unlike Trump, by the way, who had his number exposed, and he made a line out of it to be able to talk about his presidential campaign, just showing how clever he is and how really weak most of his competition is.
And then you look at the other side as to everything that's going on with, where's your server today, Kevin?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and that was confiscated by DOJ yesterday. I mean, in all this, it's like Teflon.
But I just think they find some like porn sites.
I just think that side, and this sounds real crass. I tell my wife occasionally when we're watching the news and something happens that either Hillary or Obama could be driving their vehicle, they could lose control, drive up on the sidewalk, kill 10 people, and get the Nobel Peace Prize for it.
Yeah.
All right?
Absolutely.
That's just the way the media is.
Yep.
They can't do anything wrong, okay? And who cares about Benghazi? The 4 families that lost loved ones. And I still say to this day, okay, that Stephen's family is getting paid bukus of bucks because you don't hear anything from the widow.
Nothing.
The government, played this down. They let us go. She must be getting a nice $1 million.
Wait until that Michael Bay movie comes out.
Oh, I can't wait
year
to see that.
About Benghazi. That's going to be very interesting to see how that affects the Hillary Clinton campaign.
I will tell you this: is they do find porn on her server. She'll say, "Well, that was one of Bill's deals," and who would argue with her?
Right. Because he's got his own server. What's on his server?
Oh boy, we don't want to know that. Okay. So when we come back, can I hold you for another segment?
You can,
because we're only going to briefly talk about this, but we had too much fun. We're going to talk about what's going on the tax front as well, right after this, on The Price of Business.
There's one for you, 19 for me. 'Cause I'm the tax man.